Let's talk about the current stable. Before we get on to more fighters that are more synonymous with the Ingle Gym, I believe you've taken on, well, I know you've taken on a new fighter, unless former British champion Bradley Skeete's lying on his social media, which I'm sure he's not. He's a lovely guy. He's now training out of your gym.
Yeah, Bradley came a few weeks back. Great kid, very good boxing style, a good orthodox fighter, my kind of style as well. He doesn't like getting hit. He can be elusive. I used to watch him years ago and think, that's another guy I'd like to train. He's also got defence in mind when he's fighting. He's had a few years out, and I suppose he needed a change, and he came to Sheffield, got away from it all. And you know what? He's holding his own against the kids like Galahad and Willie Hutchinson. He's heavy at the minute, heavier than he should be, but his weight's coming down. He's not broke in camp, and it's a hard training session and hard weeks in the gym, in the Ingle Gym. It's not easy. We let him break into it steady for the first week and then gradually increase it, and he's sticking with everybody. Did a good run with Kid Galahad yesterday. He's got plenty of ambition. You can see that the desire and the love for the game is coming back, and I think when I speak to him in the past, he just lost a little bit of love for boxing, and you've got to love boxing to be a boxer. You can't be doing it for the money, and for the adulation. You've got to love getting in there and taking a risk. And you can see that's coming back now, and it's going to be a step-by-step process. And hopefully in the new year, he'll get a fight. We're going to bring his weight down. We're going to get him on the Ingle real food and, cut him down. And he'll probably come back around about 11 stone. He's a big guy, he's 6 foot. So I think a lot of the time his performance were probably affected by, not making the weight properly. So he's a great addition. He's 32. Some people might consider him past it. But from what I see, there's not a lot of mileage on the clock. His reflexes are still there. He listens. He picks up stuff quick, and he's very, very easy to train.
And you recently had a visit, looking at social media, from Dave Allen and his young protege, Danny Murrell. How did that all come about?
Oh, the Dave and Danny show, yeah. He's obviously mentored Danny for a long time, Dave. But, Dave came to the gym as a young kid, started off here, went all over the place. And, Danny's been down a few times over the last couple of months when Dave's been busy doing stuff. Danny's come in and trained. And he knows all the tricks. Dave's taught him all the old school tricks. He's a good kid, Danny. 50 amateur fights, no national titles or anything. But, there's probably potential there looking at him. He's a good-looking kid. He's had 50 amateur fights and he don't even look like a boxer. So there must be something. He must have got pretty good defence. I haven't watched much of his stuff. But he's another one who comes in, listens, does as he's told. He's respectful of everybody else. He's done a few open rounds with Kid Galahad, which has put him in good stead. He's got a fight on Wednesday, and a bit short notice. We had an adjustment on his weight. We give him a bit of a diet plan. He says, I can't put weight on. He's actually woke up on the weight this morning, and he's been eating all the way up. He said, I wish I'd have known how to do this, when I was younger. But that's just a lesson learned. But look, he's got a good presence on social media. He's got a lot of fans, him and Dave, and it'll be interesting where we can take him. He's a personality, isn't he? So we've got to look after him, and hopefully he sticks in the gym and we can bring him through. It'll take a while. He's only young, and he's going to have to get a lot of experience in the pro ranks. But I think he's with the right team with MTK. They'll match him carefully, and I think he could be a kid who, even with a lack of national amateur titles, that could actually at least achieve the level of British title level.
What weight do you see him at when he's kind of competing for titles eventually?
Well, he's fighting. I think this fight was made at 10-7, but he had a change of opponent, so they made it at 10-12. But looking at him, there's a bit of weight to come off him. I'd say 140 pound, maybe, less, maybe, the next weight down 139. So he's got to be a lot lighter. There's a bit of fat to come off him yet, but that's a gradual process. You can't just take it off him for his first fight. So I'm thinking, 10 stone or 9 stone 9.
And you mentioned how Kid Galahad's kind of in the gym, bringing other people on with the open sparring, the running as well. He's always an inspiration. Everyone you speak to from your gym says he's the fittest guy there. But what's happening with him? It seems like he's been waiting forever now for his second shot at that IBF belt.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoke to Eddie a few times, and they tried to get this Warrington and Cannes Zoo fight done before Christmas. Now it could be put back till after Christmas, and we've got to work around that because we need Galahad keeping in the mix. So at the minute we're just waiting. We're just back and forwards with emails trying to sort something out. And the thing is, look, although time's ticking on, and it was February since Galahad boxed, it was a high level opponent. the one thing with Galahad is he keeps in the gym to a maintenance level where in a matter of weeks, he's ready to fight. So at the minute, we're just working with Eddie, trying to find out which way we're going to go with it all and where we both agree on it. And then, there'll be an announcement. I would imagine probably just after Christmas. But for the time being, Galahad's still there. He sparred Gamal Yafai last week. Great spar. He's another good kid coming through Gamal. Good spar, actually. And so, yeah, that's what's happening with him.
And do you expect Liam Williams, who's you've made a point of keeping busy, do you expect him to have another fight before Andrade? I know Andrade's fighting soon up at super middle, and then there'll be a short negotiation period for that fight.
No, I think Liam's where he's at now. It's, he's boxed all the lower level kids below him, and it's a case now he just needs to get switched on for the world title fight. So we won't be taking another fight. He's been active, been really active this year. Well, I think he has anyway. And over the last 2 years, he's been active. He's been consistent. His performances and training camps have all been consistent, and that's a good thing. So he's had a few weeks in Wales. He's training down there, and as soon as the date's announced or we get an idea, I think we're talking February. He'll be back up to Sheffield. But at the minute, he's keeping himself on it and keeping focus, and he's ready to go.
Willie Hutchinson, very excited about him. Had a quick win again last time out. Is it going to be Lorraine Richards next for him?
But listen, Lorraine Richards, that's what we're expecting for this fight. He's a champion. They're talking about Willie fighting him next, which is only a couple of weeks off, and that's what we're training for. We just got to sign the contracts, and we're just waiting for them to come through. Willie's preparing. He's in great shape. He's been sparring. He's still fit from his last fight. He never let himself go. And it's been a great year for him. He's probably, the most active fighter in the lockdown period. I think this will possibly be his fourth fight. So he's young, and he's one to watch. I'm very pleased for him, and I'm excited how his career is going to go. It's going to be a great journey with him because he's all of a sudden just started to mature. He's had some great sparring with Joshua Boatse, Dick Spellman, all these top kids. He sparred Lerone. That was a good spar. And Shaq Pitters and everybody else. So he's doing really well. And I'm just looking forward to the next fight and then next year.
With only a few weeks to go though, and contracts not signed, do you start to get a bit apprehensive?
No, because I'm not his manager. I train him. His manager is Shelley Finkel, and he's dealing that with Frank. It's not my business. I know it's the fight's on. So it's all I have to be concerned with is making sure that Willie's fit and he is making the weight right. That's all I've got to worry about. Everything else, Shelley's doing a great job with him. It's easy work. He takes all the the guesswork out of stuff and all the hassle. Just have to get up in the morning and just train the fighter.
And what of Robbie Davies Jr, who hasn't been mentioned very much? I mean, he likes to keep a relatively low profile on social media anyway, but what's happening with him now, and how will he rebuild from that Ritson fight? Yeah,
I think there's big news in the pipeline, and I'll leave that to Matchroom. We've got something in the pipeline, and it's going to be announced. And he's training. It's a few weeks off. It's next year, but it's a good fight. I know the guy who's going to fight. I'm not going to divulge that yet, but we're working towards that. And it's a good fight, and we're happy we're getting the fight. And Robbie's another one who's coming on leaps and bounds and settling into the Ingle Gym. He's living over in Sheffield with Liam Williams in a house. Back at the minute he's back and forward. His missus has just had a kid, but he's coming over here 3 days a week, getting the spars in, getting the pad work in. And he's, I wish they were all like him. Well, actually, the ones I'm training now are all like him. They're all on it. Robbie Davies, you have to, you have to tell him to stop. He never stops training. He's well disciplined as a fighter. He's in great shape already. Not much above the weight. So I wish they were all like that. My job would have been, a lot easier over the years if you're the consummate pro like he was.
Are you happy with the stable you've got at the moment? Would you like to add any more, or are you kind of busy enough?
I've got another kid coming through now who's only young. They call him Lightning Jr. Tony Curtis, they call him. And he's come with Bradley Skeete. He's only 14, little kid. But you can just tell he's got the natural movement. He's picked up the Ingle style straight away. His reflexes are good. He's got a good little boxing brain on him. And, I'm training him alongside Bradley at the minute. It's going to take a few years with him. But that's somebody who excites me. We've done a few things with him, little testers with him, put him in sparring with people. And you can just see his movement and how he is. He's just got that natural ability. And that's just a case now of taking him through the next 4 years without getting distracted with his friends, girls, drugs, drink, whatever it is kids do these days. Too much social media. But he has got real ability. And you know what? Just like with Kid Galahad, Naz recommended him to the gym. Naz knows this fella's dad. And the fella said to Naz, where should I take him? I took him to Freddie Roach. He's been to Mayweather the gym. He went, listen, take him up to the Ingle Gym in Sheffield. That's the best place for him. And he came up, and his dad, nice fella. They've actually rented Billy Joe Saunders' house next to the Galahad, and they're living in there, Bradley and him. They're doing the graft. That's how committed they are. So yeah, it's there's things happening. It's all good.
No wonder Saunders can go ages without fighting. It's like a property magnate.
He's got plenty of money, Billy, but he's waiting for the big fight, and it'll be a good fight between him and Martin, and then hopefully Billy next year can move on to bigger and better things.
Great stuff. Well, it's always a pleasure to catch up, and I know we both wish, obviously, Kel the best of luck at the weekend, and going on from there, best of luck to the rest of your stable when they've got their fights coming up.
Thanks, Danny.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
See you later. Thanks.
Bye.